Warm greetings, everyone. Welcome to our opening to channel day 2. And actually, I have to do one more thing right now that I think allows this to stream on Instagram. Yes. Yay. Okay, here we are. Oh. Let's take a minute to arrive here fully. Oh, I'm laughing because it's been such an active morning already, and it feels good to settle here with you all. So actually settle yourself. Whatever it is that you're doing, choose to be fully here now. Choose to commit this time to being fully here now. So that means ceasing any multitasking, giving yourself a space that is relatively quiet and contained. Because when you do that, you're choosing to make yourself available to receive. And that's actually the foundation of channeling. So we're practicing that right here, right now in real time. If you're having any trouble settling, then you can try a very simple technique to bring yourself present, which is to notice either what you hear or something that you feel. And sometimes what I'll do is rub 2 fingers really lightly together. You can do both if you want, advanced. Rub 2 fingers lightly together and notice the most furthest away sounds. Yes. Good. I can feel that shift in our field. Could you? It's like the base of our shared field just got wider and more weighty, more substantial as we landed here through choice. Did you notice that? You made a choice and we just came home to ourselves. And notice the difference first in your body. What's different? What's different in your quality of awareness? Yes. And now what's different in the field? Tune into the field. I feel you doing it. Excellent. Oh, just before we come into eyes open, if your eyes are closed, just feel your own heart gushing with appreciation and love for yourself, love for your abilities in this life, in this body, at this time. You are so extraordinary, truly. Hmm. Okay, come into your eyes open and please type into the chat wherever you are. I think I can see multiple streams of chat, but type into the chat, whatever platform you're on right now, what you noticed in the field after doing the practice, arriving, noticing what's different about yourself, and then noticing what's different about the field. Type that in. Let's see what's happening there. Oh, Melanie, calm and expansive. Source, abundance. I'm going to type in what I felt. Clarity. I think maybe my comments just show up on YouTube. Super grounded. Beautiful. I have a question for you. Hi, Linda. I saw that. I'll check the private chat. I have a question for you. Why are you interested in channeling? Why are you interested in opening to channel? Mm. And feel for the actual emergent answer, not what you thought even yesterday, but right in this moment. Why are you interested in opening to channel? So I want to share a little story, and then what part of what's hold on, I'm getting a message. I just keep getting, and I'm laughing because it's what I've been getting from my guidance all morning. It's just that my only job today is to just be in the unknown, to ride the edge of the wave of the unknown. And if that is ever one definition of channeling, that's definitely one. You cannot already know and channel. You can't already know and channel. You have to empty yourself out. That's what I was thinking with my mind we were going to talk about today, but I'm going to ride the wave of the unknown in real time with you. Okay, let's see. A story. I felt a story coming. Yes, here it is. So I was actually kind of afraid. I had some fear around this idea of channeling for a long while, and I think it was influenced by some aspects of religious conditioning and some other things that I won't get into, but I it just felt not safe and scary to me. And then my my first exposures to channeling were people that were channeling extraterrestrial energies or entities. And while I found it completely fascinating and it did leave me altered, I also didn't have any desire to do that. There was nothing in me that said, "Oh, I want to do that." And I did share with you yesterday my story and my journey with recognizing when I began to channel, and that it had to do with the essential oils, with the plant spirits, with the plants themselves. And now the most common channeling that I do is on a day-to-day basis is I I make myself available, which is I empty myself out. I clear myself as instrument, and I tune into the higher energies, higher vibrations that are me. And sometimes I experience this as channeling my future self. Sometimes I experience it as channeling my higher self. Perhaps they're one and the same, but it definitely feels like me, but it's a bigger, broader, more rich, more full, and expressly clear expression of Tiffany. And it's so much more than Tiffany, but it comes through Tiffany. And then when I do my work on occasion that I do soul openings work with, it's rare that I offer up individual soul opening sessions anymore. I generally am doing that work for clients that are in some kind of container with me. But when I do that work, I'm also, as I'm engaging with them, directly opening up to my higher guidance and higher awareness, plus their higher guidance and their higher awareness. And sometimes ancestors or past loved ones will enter, and so I'm navigating sort of where I'm tuning, and then I'm flowing it through and out of my mouth. Now, for me to get to a point where I could do that in real time with people, so meaning like while we're on a Zoom together, like we're doing here, or a video together, I we want to say about this. It was no small feat, actually, and there was a process to it that I want to describe a little bit of here. Ooh, I can feel this coming in, which is a sort of articulation about safety. Um, you remember, and even perhaps recognize as I'm talking about it here, that the way that we're taught to feel safe in any kind of engagement is generally through the ego's lens, which is the separate self lens. So in order for me to feel through the separate self safe and therefore confident from the separate self perspective, there is some measure of wanting to already know and feeling like I already know. So the safety that comes from showing up to something and knowing what you're going to say, knowing how you're going to say it, knowing what kind of outcome you want, etc. And there is a kind of stability that that way of operating can give to your nervous system. There's nothing, this isn't about making that wrong, by the way. I want to contrast that to what's required when you choose to channel. Because when you're choosing to channel, you're choosing to make yourself open and receptive, which means you're choosing to clear yourself out. Sorry, this is kind of a graphic metaphor, but it's like for those of you that have ever had either colonics, or if you've taken that gnarly stuff that they give you at the doctor before you have a colonoscopy, where you just get completely cleared out. You're actually choosing to clear yourself out, which takes focus, by the way. It takes choice and focus. And then to actually let things come out of your mouth or onto a page, which sometimes can feel easier to do. We might go into that practice today or tomorrow, by the way. You have to then initiate taking action while you're also choosing to be emptied out. This takes a decision, a focus, and continuing to focus on the emptiness rather than the noise, which is also requires a kind of discipline in the moment. And then you have to be willing to let something emerge up and out of you. And for me, that willingness, I really had to go through a process that over time to practice the willingness, I guess is the best way to say it. And it was because I was terrified. I was genuinely terrified of saying things or doing things that either people would judge, that they would think that I was crazy or wrong or any number of things that people could do when they're judging. And I was also, yeah, I was really afraid of being wrong. I was probably somewhere in there afraid of being ridiculed. I was afraid of being talked about, rejected, all those things. And but this piece about like getting it wrong. What if I get it wrong? What if I say something that's not true? What if I get it wrong? That stunted me for quite a long time in the process of like in active real time doing the channeling and emergently being in creative emergence as a channel, making myself available for emergent creation in the moment as a channel. That took time and practice. I'm in a place now where I've been doing it long enough that I can teach and way show that. I can break it down into steps. I can talk about my experience. I can provide you with exercises that will help you. But I can't make you step across that threshold. I can't make you do that. You have to do that. And it has to be in a right timing for you. And so bringing it full circle to this topic of safety, from the separate self or the ego's perspective, safety is predicated on knowing, already knowing, and to be a channel, you actually have to make yourself available to not already know, and then to allow that to creatively emerge in and through you. You have to be willing to practice that, not already knowing and making yourself available and taking action all in one sort of seamless flow. And the best metaphor that I've heard to kind of compare this to, or perhaps it's an analogy, is surfing. Because, and I'm not a surfer, but Rory talks about surfing all the time, and uh, he spoke to me once when I was on the precipice of making a really big decision about receiving mentorship and guidance for my future from another person. And he said to me, I was pondering the decision, and there was uh, the risk for me that I was aware of was a financial risk. And so I was talking to him about it, and he said, honey, it's like when you're on top of an epic wave. And I thought, what is he talking about? And he said, it's like when you're on top of an epic wave. You have to decide if you're in or you're out. Because if you're not all in, it's hell. It's going to be hell, something like that. When you decide to empty yourself out, to be a channel for the highest, most beautiful aspects of you, of a channel of broader intelligence that is beckoning you to allow it to flow through you, when you choose that, and then you focus yourself and you become willing to let it move through you by taking actions, emergent actions, that's being all in. It's being all in for you in the most glorious and magnificent ways. I can't, probably words don't fully do it justice. It's just, It's the experience of being most fully awake, most fully realized as you, experiencing you in the moment while you're sharing it with others who can receive and reflect back and be impacted by it. It is the non-dual, it's the non-dual experience of a form of bliss, really. The bliss of being you, the bliss of being you. And if you've experienced this, I imagine that you've experienced this here and there and in glimpses, then maybe you didn't previously think about this as channeling and as emergent creation, but that's actually what's going on. If I don't put myself in situations where I'm doing this on some fairly regular basis, I kind of forget who I really am, actually. I will often tell some of my dearest colleagues and clients this, that, if I don't get in the creative emergence game and and create and contribute and engage just for the sake that there's something prompting me to do so, not for any other sake, then I forget what I'm capable of, because my brilliance is being right on the edge of what's possible and both channeling it into being and sculpting it into being in real time through you. That's genius in action. That is brilliance in action. The being and the becoming of the brilliant you. And it's not like this is available to everyone, what I'm talking about. This is available to everyone. And I do believe that we now can feel this, the truth of this now more than ever. I'm so curious if that rings true for you, then please put it in the comments. I would love to hear. I would love to know. I also am aware that this capacity within us, everything that I'm describing, is more important than it's ever been. It's more important than it's ever been. Can you feel why? Can you feel why this is more important than it's ever been? Inside of you, can you feel why? What do you hear? What do you hear about why it's more important than ever for you? What do you hear? Pop that in the chat if you're comfortable with it. This new form of an experience of safety is, to the separate self, it can feel terrifying. And to the emergent self, it's the permission to be more fully you than you've ever been. And remember that because you're always changing and evolving, the next moment is always a new moment to be more fully you than you've ever been. And what you start to find is that what you start to recognize is that holding yourself in old forms of yourself, or preventing yourself from taking emergent action for any of the old reasons that exist, or any of the noise of doubt, or any of that you've played out a million times, you start to find that listening to that and disallowing yourself from being a channel and allowing for creative emergence, that's what's unsafe, actually. The disallowing is the unsafeness of life. The reason why is because it will make you sick. It creates all kinds of stagnation in the body and in the mind. So if we really just looked at what safety means, to keep safe, to keep in good care, good health, good standing, to refuse to open yourself to channel all of the gloriousness that's you into creative emergence, into action, is now that's the unsafe reality. Let's put it that way. Can you feel that? Okay. Hmm. I'm so appreciative to be here with you now. So appreciative. There are three there are three steps really. Where did I write that down? Here. We're going to close with this. Yeah. So what I was just describing around uh, the receptivity, making yourself available to channel, and then allowing that to flow through you all the way into action, and continuing that movement. By the way, you continue it. That's how you bring things into full manifestation, full fruition. Is these three phases are stabilizing yourself as an instrument, and this is in your body actually, because your body is the instrument. So this does require some nervous system attunement and attentiveness, and uh, and practicing tuning into the field, which we did at the beginning. The second phase is to attune to the signals of the future. And this starts with you being a clear instrument, poised and ready, being able to attune to the field, and then being able to listen with a different quality of hearing or of inner listening. And the third phase is to create in partnership with that which wants to emerge. So you bring it into form, bring it into form. What's percolating in you? What's bubbling? What's right there at the edge? What's at the top of your heart? If they're questions, I want you to write them in the chat. I will look them over before tomorrow, and I'm sure that we'll touch into many of them. And I have two things that came through to me this morning to share with you. If this is speaking to you and you want to further this, you really want to learn how to do this, you want to hone yourself in this way, and you want to practice it. By the way, remember that probably most of you that are listening have already been doing little bits of this. Either you've been channeling, but you haven't necessarily been channeling it into creative emergence, or perhaps you've been creating a lot, but you go into creating with effort or working with effort, and you're not allowing yourself to be a channel. So if you're wanting to really hone how to do both of those and connect them in real time and then experience the fruits of that, that's why I created the Lumina Guild. And the Lumina Guild, sometimes I refer to it as the gestational sack for meta creators. Meta creators are humans who are opening themselves to channel and then allowing that to come through into creative emergence. And I am actually in just about an hour and a half today, I'm teaching a workshop, facilitating a workshop inside the Lumina Guild around creative emergence. and you might just love it. And I'm going to actually put a link. I wonder, I haven't really tested out if you can receive links when I put them in the chat, but I'm going to try it. And if you don't see it there right now as I'm streaming, just go to the either go to the to YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram, and I'll pop that URL right in there. I think I actually just put 2 URLs in there. That'll take you to Lumina Guild. And then the other thing that came clear to me this morning was to open up 4 spots for a soul opening session with me. 4 spots for a soul opening session with me. And this is, let me just copy that link. If you want an hour and a half focused on you, supporting you in what's coming through and in honing yourself in these ways, it will be a true, true game changer. And I'm popping a link here for you. This is going to take you to PayPal. I only opened it up for 4. So as soon as I see that anyone's registered there, I'm going to reach out to you directly and send a scheduling link. Okay. Drop in for one more moment with me here. Feel what's palpable for you, what's created some lift. Maybe this lift is dispelling some of the, like the wet blanket over your life, the discouragement or the density where you repeatedly talk yourself out of what's possible for you for any number of well-practiced reasons, or where you stop yourself from your next level of greatness. Maybe you're feeling something poke through that. Maybe that, whatever that energy is, has totally left your body right now. By the way, that's what happens when you open yourself to channel and then you channel it into something that's creatively emerging through you. That's what happens. It displaces all of that stuff. It doesn't mean that it doesn't creep in through the process. But what I love to do is show you, and maybe this is part of what we'll talk about tomorrow, show you and talk and, yeah, demonstrate what to do when that happens. What to do when you forget who you are and what you're capable of. Okay, my loves, such a pleasure, such an honor to be with you, and I look forward to being with you tomorrow. Share this with others. Let yourself be in the effervescence and the sparkle of what's here for you. And do share anything that you want to share on the social media platforms here. Okay, much love from my heart to you.